Ow. Hey, what's going on, guys? Hello. Hello. Hey. All right, let's get into it. Hey. So Friday afternoon, live build time. Hey, happy Friday. Hello, Geek Eric, Potato Christian. A name which is in Chinese characters, so I can't read it. Sorry, but it has the little boy from Up in there. Anyway, hello. Yes, hello. Branovanced. Anyway, there we go. Hello, Rotten Lee. Hello. Waluigi. Blaze, what's going on, guys? Okay, let's get right into the news with this kit. So today we're gonna finally find out, is early real grade syndrome a thing, or do people just need to get good? We'll see. I think it's definitely a thing. Generally, is early real grade syndrome a thing? My issue is more so with, it doesn't need a title, a name of early real grade syndrome. You could say early master grade syndrome, because earlier master grades were certainly not near as good as current master grades. Early HG syndrome. Basically, any older kits are not going to be as good as newer kits. Having the title of early real grade syndrome, I think, does nothing but maybe dissuade people from buying kits like this, because they're gonna hear about online about the early real grade syndrome, the earlier RX-78-2 or the earlier real grade kits are not good. It's like, no, they're not bad kits at all. They're just older kits, and older kits aren't going to be as nice as newer kits. That's just how it goes. So hey, that's my thought process. I've actually built this kit twice, but 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, 11, 12 years ago, while I was living in Japan. And so I don't remember having any bad thoughts about the kit at the time. I don't remember having any kind of bad experience. So I don't think this kit is anywhere near as bad as some people might have you believe it to be. But we'll find out. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It could just be that maybe I just didn't really notice at the time, and maybe there's certain things that I would notice now that I didn't notice way back then. Anyway, only one way to find out. Let's get to building. No horrible stickers. Yeah, so I won't be doing the stickers. Stickers, I mean, like stickers on an RG kit or something that I did used to do, like at that time. So actually, when the real grade kits first came out, I didn't even try any of the real grade kits for a few years. So I think this one came out in 2010. A couple years later. I guess it probably wasn't until like 2012 that so yeah, I mean, it's not like that long, but I slept on the first couple of real grade releases until probably 2012 while I was living in Japan. And interesting story, sort of, I guess, maybe. Anyway, I was living there in Japan and checking out a secondhand shop near where I lived. It wasn't even a secondhand Gunpla shop or hobby shop in general. It was just a secondhand shop, so it had all kinds of stuff, clothes and everything else. And it also happened to have a section of model kits and stuff like that, because this was not in Tokyo, and where I lived was in Nagoya, which is a large city. It's the third largest city in Japan. But I lived like way out on like the outside edge of Nagoya, in an area called Nagakute. If any of you guys have ever been there, probably not, but on the off chance. And anyway, so it's not like it's a like Akihabara or Denden Town in Osaka where you have lots of hobby shops. It was just like a local secondhand shop, basically. It was a pretty big size one. It is a chain. I can't remember what's the name. Treasure Bomb is the name of it, and I think there's a few of them around that area. Anyway, so I was there checking out some model kits, I guess, and they had some of the real grade kits, and I think they had both versions of the Zaku, the green and the Shara's Zaku 2, and also had both versions of the not the RX-78, the Gundam Mark II. So, and they were all, I think, for about 1,500 yen, about dollars. So, so yeah, not bad at all. I mean, like that's at that time. I don't mean like converted now, 1,500 yen, so like closer to $10. But uh, so I don't. I think I picked them all up at once. I was like, all right, I'm gonna check these out and build all of them. So I got those 4 kits, and then I think it wasn't until later that I actually got the RX-78-2 because the 2 versions of the RX-78-2 that I've built are both actually like limited versions. So one was the like mechanical clear color version, and the other one was like a Gundam based limited anniversary exclusive version or something like that, where it was pretty much the exact same kit, but it came with some like additional parts for like having like the stand, like you could connect a wire to the stand and have like the Gundam like flying sideways and have like a wire connected to the stand with a little tiny figure of Amuro also flying like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. It was another limited exclusive version of the RG Gundam anyway. So yeah, I've built both of those way back when. Oh, I actually need to remove this part, hey? Okay. I thought it was just saying to just press this part down, but yeah, you need to remove this part from the bottom of the foot. Omit that. Okay. Yeah, so that's how I got turned on to the RG line, was picking up some secondhand RGs from my local secondhand hobby store back in 2012. It would have been, yeah. It was a good time, and yeah, I enjoyed them a lot. But anyway, so I guess what got me onto talking about that was because somebody asked about the stickers or was mentioning about the stickers, and so yeah, at that time I did put like all the stickers on and even top coated, and then I did some panel lining and stuff at that time too. That was before I was doing any painting or anything like really too serious, but I did try a little bit of top coat, a little bit of panel lining on those kits, and yeah, I was happy with it. But later kits, I think there's probably been a couple of kits maybe that I've built for review that I've put some of the stickers on, but generally I just don't like the look of the stickers in the RG kits, just because the RG kits have so much fine detail on them, and then like putting those stickers on, the stickers just don't look good because of them just being stickers. They have that ugly outline, and I find that they often like just barely fit on the part. So I'm just grabbing my tweezers here to help me out a little bit, because the pieces are so small, and like the decals, like the sticker decals you have to put on there are really, really small, and they kind of like barely fit usually. So I just don't really like how they end up looking because of all that. So no stickers for me, and that's going to include today's build as well. But excuse me, let me think here. Where are we? I should make sure that I'm paying close attention to the instruction manuals, but yeah, because if I'm trying to debunk the whole early rear grade syndrome thing, I don't want to end up making a mistake, putting something together wrong. Then that would be on me. But like I said, happy Friday, guys. I know the chat's kind of been going off there, and I've been ignoring it while I was storytelling, but I'll catch up with the chat in just a moment. Here's our foot, first of all. One thing too that I'll say, and I'll talk some more about this in the review for sure, but whilst I was getting all the parts, prepared for the live stream today, one thing that I was thinking about is that this RG seems like more complex than a lot of the more recent RGs. And it's interesting because like you hear a lot of people for the past couple of years talking about how real grades have basically just become like small master grades. And while I was getting ready this kit, I was thinking like, man, this is a lot more like a master grade than even some of the other ones. I mean, it's only different in the fact that we have the pre-built frame. But in terms of like the complexity and the detail and everything, it's a pretty complex kit. It has a bunch of parts. This is basically because it came out right around the same time, it's very similar to the Gundam 3.0, the Master Grade kit. So yeah, I mean, I get why people miss the RG frame, just because it was something that definitely made the line more unique. But it's certainly a plenty complex. One thing that I think, and the frame is something that I think is where probably a lot of people ran into issues with this kit. And one thing that I will say is that, yeah, you just have to be very careful and delicate when you're moving the frame. It's going to be really tight right off the runner. So especially, I think they didn't, I'm just looking in the manual. They never really used to do this in the manual. In more recent releases later, they will explicitly tell you in the manual once you take off like this leg runner part, before you start putting pieces onto it, you're supposed to like bend it and kind of loosen it up a little bit. So they'll remind you to do that in the more recent releases. This kit doesn't have that, but I'm gonna do it anyway, just because I know to do it. But yeah, just hold, and like when you're bending the knee, don't like hold it like way out here at the end and try to bend it, because then it's gonna snap off somewhere. So hold it like right on the joint basically, and bend it like, you know, really slowly and carefully to make sure that you're not gonna break anything. And so yeah, that's how you want to just kind of be careful with it. And doing this maybe once or twice, at least once, you might even want to do it again, will just help to kind of loosen up the joint a little bit. It's not going to make it loose, it's just going to make it less tight. And it's not a bad thing at all. It's going to help to prevent anything from breaking later on. So now you can see we have a much more smoother bend here, now that that's loosened up a little bit. You may even want to get a little WD-40 and spray it on there. Just kidding about that, don't do that. But let's see. Okay, let me try to catch up in the chat here with you guys for a second. Let me just get these couple of pieces on here, and I'll see. So one thing that is different from like, so the newer RGs, yeah, don't have the pre-molded frame, and they have, but like kind of, it's interesting how these early ones had the pre-molded frame, the advanced MS joint frame, and then not a lot of like extra frame parts added on. Then you had some of the later ones where you had kind of like with the Sazabi, for example, some of those that had like some, what would be another good example? I don't know, where it's a mix of, you have like the advanced MS joint frame, and then you're adding more frame parts on top of that, and then adding the armor. And then we have the more recent releases that obviously have gotten rid of the advanced MS joint almost entirely. And it's just all normal building the frame. So, all right. Hate to admit, but the RG looks so much better than the MG. I don't agree with that, Christian. I think the MG still looks better. One thing that I don't like about the RG, and probably why I prefer the MG, is that this RG especially, and some of the other RGs as well, I think it's gotten better more recently, but especially a lot of the earlier RGs, the detail on them, they are really detailed, but the detail is so shallow and faint that if you sand the kit at all, which you should before painting, you're going to end up like almost entirely sanding away a lot of the details on there, and then you're going to have to rescribe it and everything. And so that was one thing that I definitely don't like about a lot of these earlier RG kits, how shallow a lot of the frame parts can be. So you just get a couple more. Speaking of frame parts, let's see if we can get a little bit further past the frame here. It's not about the building part. Sorry, what I meant is all the kits. Okay, I'm sorry. I want to try to see if I can catch up in the chat here, but I know there's a lot kind of going on. You can buy water slides for this, probably, Geek Eric. I don't recall if Bandai, I believe Bandai does make water slide decal set for this. If not Bandai, you can get third-party decals for this. Yeah, absolutely. You can even, I think I even have a decal set for this, which is based off of the like Gundam Base Limited like anniversary version of this. It's some like limited version of the decals that I have in like a third-party decal set, just a copy of the Bandai one. All right, moving on. How does this part go on here? Like that. Okay. And once we get these parts on here, that's the extent of all the inner frame here for the leg. So just a couple of pieces added at the ankle, at the knee, and at the thigh. And then we're gonna start adding on the armor. So this one, we're gonna bend out this piece here. This one slides. It's interesting too how, even though, like I said, I have built this kit twice, I don't remember it very well. So it is gonna be pretty much an entirely new experience for me. Like I said, it was 11 years ago now at this point, so it's not going to be like a build that I'm very familiar with by any means. It is the RX-78-2 though at the end of the day, so I mean it's certainly a design that I'm very familiar with, even if the build like is feeling sort of new. I mean, like, I can still easily recognize like where all the pieces go. I just have to follow along to make sure that I'm going to be putting everything on in the right order and all that. So that goes in the hole? No, between the holes. Okay. Between two holes. But yeah, a lot of little detail parts, which makes this quite the parts heavy kit for its size and age, which I guess is maybe one thing that could be a bad thing. You know, sometimes, I mean, having more parts makes it more complex and adds more color separation and all that, which is all good and well. But as with anything, the more moving parts you have, the more chances that something can break. So it is kind of a double-edged sword. All right, and I had to be very careful. So I would like getting this kit ready to live build. A lot of times, what I'll do is like I'll cut out all the pieces and put them in the box here at work, and then I'll take it home and I'll clean up all the nubs and everything and get everything ready at home. This one, I didn't even want to take it home because there were so many little pieces. I was worried if I lost something. I was like, I'm not taking this anywhere. I'm just going to leave it here and do all my cleanup and everything here so I can hopefully not lose anything in transport. Like I don't lose anything in transport. Everything stays in the box, of course. But what could happen, what I was worried about happening, is that the parts, some really teeny tiny parts, move like from one section of the box to another section. So like if it's a little tiny part that I need for the leg, if it ends up moving to the section for the arm, you know, then when it comes to now like sitting here with you guys doing the live build, I'm going to be looking around, searching around for it. Whereas leaving it here, just maybe to make sure not having to move the box around so much means that the parts aren't going to meander into the wrong section of the box. So I gotta say, so far, the build of the leg feels pretty good. It does feel a little bit kind of loose, not super tight in some sections, which you don't want to feel. But I mean, understanding what we're building, what we're putting together here so far, I mean, there's a lot of little parts going into a very small little area. So I mean, you have to imagine there's not a whole lot that can really hold those parts together. If it's as there's like 30 parts in this one little thing, probably more than 30. I don't know. I wasn't counting, but so first leg is together, and yeah, I can feel. I mean, it feels so different from bending the knee now and how smooth that glides compared to how it was at first. Yeah, like when I was first bending it, it's like, it feels like it's gonna break. But that's why we do that. That's why you loosen up that joint a little bit before you put the armor pieces on, because now it feels very smooth and good. And yeah, like some of the parts, I mean, I don't feel like they're gonna fall off, but like this part here, for example, at the top, it feels a little bit kind of loosey, but you know, it is what it is. And that's what it is for right now. There's the first leg. Let me go ahead and let's get the other leg here built up. Let me see what's going on with you guys in the chat. So the mega scale is basically an enlarged HG model. Kind of, yeah. On the inside, yes. One thing that I love about the mega size, RX-78-2 especially, And the Zaku is another example of this. That the mega size kits on the outside have a lot of great detail on them. So they're kind of like the RE100 or full mechanics kits, where they're a little bit more simple on the inside, but on the outside they look very complex and highly detailed and everything. That's why I love the mega size Gundam and Zaku in particular. The unicorn, just because of the design of the unicorn, isn't quite as like heavily detailed, but it's also nice. The Age 1 and Age 2 I've not built actually, so I hope that at some point Bandai will reprint the Age mega size kits so that I can get my hands on one and hopefully build it. The Age 1 in particular. The Age 2 I'm less interested in, but it would still be nice to just check it out, just because I said, not that much of a fan of the Age 2 design quite as much, but I am very much a fan of the mega size line generally. I hope that Bandai will make more. I don't think that they're going to, unfortunately, but it would be nice. You can buy a metal frame for the RG, Sinanju, and Sazabi. It turns the kit into a hard brick. Oh, interesting. I'm sure that's helpful, but I mean, I think like for the Sinanju especially, that could be. I mean, for the Sinanju, the issues that I've had that I can remember having with the Sinanju is not so much that like the frame is too weak. It is, but the solution to that is just don't move stuff around. I mean, if all it depends on what you want to do with it. If all you want to do is get the kit and put it in a pose, put it on your shelf and leave it, then I feel like it would be able to do that just fine without needing any kind of like extra, like a metal frame set or something. The frame that it has is fine. The issue you would have is more like there's a couple of parts that just tend to fall off kind of easily. And it's not really to do with the rigidness of the frame. It's just the connection of the parts. Like the knee part, for example, is one that I specifically remember having trouble with. And for that, you don't need a metal frame. You just need a little bit of glue. Just glue it on there and then you're good to go. So, I mean, the metal frame sets, it's kind of gimmicky in my opinion. I'm just not really that big of a fan. I mean, they're kind of cool, and especially if you don't paint, they can be nice. Because where you can, like on a kit like the MG Barbatos, for example, where there is a lot of exposed frame, it can look cool to have those like parts, rather than painting the plastic parts to look like metal. They actually are metal, so that can look cool. Where's this part for the top of the foot? I'm wondering. I'm sure it's like right here. There it is. I just couldn't quite see it. So we got those. Hang on. I tried looking for a replacement frame for the RG Zaku and couldn't find anything. Yeah, I did. That's the only issue that I've ever had with an RG, is that on the RG Zaku, yeah, I did have a part of the frame break on an RG Zaku once before. That is the hip connection part. So pretty unfortunate piece to break, because that means that I couldn't attach the leg onto the kit at all. This part too. I just want to make sure that that's solid on there. Okay. That was supposed to go up, right? Okay. Yeah. So the hip breaking is exactly what happened. Yep. Yeah. So you just have to be, again, it's the same thing like I was talking about with the frame. You just have to be really careful bending the frame parts in particular on these kits. And some people would point to that as a flaw and say, I mean, yes, exactly. The fact that you have to be so careful bending the frame, otherwise it can be very easily prone to breaking, shows that it's not a good kit. That's a flaw. I don't see that as a flaw, in my opinion. That's the thing, is that just because you have a part that can be weak and can be prone to breaking, I don't see that as a flaw. I just see it as something to be aware of and be careful of. And so long as you're careful of, you're not going to have an issue. So, and again, you know, as it goes with these kits, they are, I mean, it's almost sort of cliche to say, I know, but if you'll forgive me, they are model kits at the end of the day and not toys. So yeah, they are made to be moved around and posed and everything else, you know, much more so than your standard, like a tank model kit or something like that. So yeah, it's not exactly the same like something like that, but it is still a model kit. So I mean, yes, they are made, especially Bandai Gunpla model kits are made to, you know, withstand some play, absolutely, generally, but still, you know, there's I think there is a limit to that. Petite Cherie, I'm at work. I thought I'd pop in and say hello. Hello, thanks for popping in, and get back to work. Ratfink said, that's a fair point. My Zaku hip broke because I had only built for about a month and tried to disassemble it. Yeah, that, and when I did that too, I mean, that was, again, a long time ago. I would definitely be a lot more careful with it. Now, that said, even now, when I would be a lot more careful with it, it still could happen. I mean, I don't remember offhand the last thing that I broke, but, oh, no, I broke on the Immortal Justice, actually. So after I was done, fortunately, it was after the review was finished. What sucks is when I break apart either during the review or before doing the review. That's annoying. But so long as it's after the review is done, it's less of an issue, because then I don't have to worry about the stability of it, whatever. I can just glue it or, you know, fix it however I see fit. But yeah, the HG Immortal Justice, after the review, I was kind of, and you guys will see some more about this later, hint, hint, but taking the Rising Freedom and Immortal Justice and kit bashing them together. So taking like some parts from one kit and some parts from another and putting them together. And whilst doing that, whilst taking the head off, it's really interesting with those kits that some of the parts are like the same and seem exactly the same, but the tolerance is just very, very slightly different. So like the head attaching onto the ball joint for the neck on those two kits is slightly different. So if you put the Rising Freedom head onto the Immortal Justice body, it's kind of loose, and inversely, putting the Immortal Justice head onto the Rising Freedom neck, it's like a little bit tight. And the same thing like with the arm connection, attaching the upper arm into the shoulder top of the arm part, it's a little bit different in the tolerance. It's very odd, but anyway, whilst doing that, yeah, I broke the V fin of the Immortal Justice. Fortunately, it was a pretty easy fix, just glued, and it should be fine. But now I'm gonna have to be, you know, like very delicate with it, and probably over the course of working on that kit a little bit more and just doing a quick and simple paint job on that kit, probably very likely going to break that again, and I'll have to glue and fix it. But hopefully it won't be after the kit's painted. Hopefully, you know, if there's anything else that's going to happen with it, it happens before the painting is done, knock on wood. Fortunately, there's a lot of wood around to knock on. But yeah. Slightly unrelated, but have you seen the third-party GPO2 MG? Of course, I have seen that. I don't plan on getting one, and I don't plan on reviewing it. Not for any other particular reason other than just the fact that not that big of a fan of the GPO2's design. Sorry, did I say GPO1? I meant GPO2, yeah. Not that big of a fan of the design. And as you guys know, I had a bad experience last time I worked on an MG GPO2. When I was trying to custom build it and modify it and everything, I ended up scrapping, if you guys remember, that project just because I just didn't want to work on it anymore. I just kind of wasn't feeling it, and I hated to, you know, basically quit something that I'd started, but I just wasn't into it, and so I just didn't want to subject myself to kind of slogging through the rest of the process when I would have just preferred to work on other things, which is what I did. Anyway, So yeah, GPO2, yeah, left a bad taste in my mouth. But no, I don't know. The kit looks cool for sure. I just don't plan on building one. Not me, but I'm sure other people will on YouTube. So if you guys are interested in seeing more about that kit, like you want to see a review before you buy it or whatever, I'm sure there will be other people who will get it and check it out. What is that? A little bit of like flash or something on this part, which is odd, kind of unusual. Unusual for a Bandai kit. All right, so this completes the second leg. And now we can move on to what's next in the construction. I don't remember. I think the torso? Anyway. I have a ton of nostalgia for the GPO2. Looking forward to trying it out. The nuclear bazooka gimmick will be interesting. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it looks interesting for sure. While I'm not very interested in that or the knockoff Stargazer kit, I am interested in the Nielsen Works 160 scale Knots Tallgeese kit. That one looks really cool. I just hope that it's better than their Not Astray kit. Because while I didn't build that kit in full, I started building the flight pack because I have the gray version of the Nielsen Works gray Astray kit that comes with the flight pack. And I started putting the flight pack together and the fit was not good. But I've seen a lot of people build that kit and I've really never heard people say like, oh, this kit's bad or whatever. Like you hear a lot of people talk about how bad the fit issues are on like Mechanicore kits, for example, but I've never really heard it that much about the Nielsen Works Astray kit. But in my limited experience, just working on the attempting to put together the flight pack, I was like, this is awful. But maybe it's just the flight pack. Maybe the rest of the kit is fine. Because then the flight pack was something that was developed later for later versions. The original red version didn't have that. So I think they came out with red, blue, and gray versions, if I remember correctly. And I think I have the blue and the gray one. But yeah. In the home backlog, the blue frame was okay. Rotten said, I'm super soaked for the MG Not Stargazer kit. Ramma said, I know it says super stoked, but I just at first in my mind before reading out loud read super soaked. The shoulders are ridiculously tight. Well, if it's a kit that's got a big, like heavy weapon to hold, sometimes tight shoulders is good, but you might have a situation where like the shoulders are really tight, but then like the wrists are really weak. So if you have a kit, this has obviously happened to me before, I know from experience, a kit that's got like a big heavy weapon, you can get the arms to stay exactly where they need to be, but then like the wrists are gonna like be falling like this. It can't hold the weapon up. It's like doing one of these or something. So it can be an issue. Next is the waist, and I just want to say thank you to Sharif for the super chat there. Thank you. Cheers, happy building. Thank you. I know you're at work, so I don't know if you can stick around for very much of the build, but so if you're headed out, just thank you again. Really appreciate that. And yeah, let's move on here to the waist section. So these parts, yeah, the front and the back skirts are exactly the same, which is kind of nice. Just makes it a little bit convenient for building. That said, if I can't find the right parts, here we go. The blue frame needs more love in general. I don't know. I mean, I would not complain about new blue or green frame kits. Yeah, well, Bandai seems to be reprinting a lot of seed kits as of late, so it'd be cool to get a reprint of like the 1/100 scale. Is it HG or non-grade? Anyway, the 1/100 scale green frame kit. I always thought it looked pretty cool. Never picked one up, but okay. Where are these parts? I'm missing a couple of parts here that I think, yeah, for some reason I put them with the arm here. thinking that these were parts of the shoulders, but in fact they're parts of the skirt armor. They have a kind of similar look to it. The shape of the skirt, front and back skirt armor, is very similar kind of shape to the shoulder armor, isn't it? So I got a little bit confused cutting up my parts. The non-grade green frame. I want more Mirage frame kits. Yeah, there's a lot of very interesting seed designs that it would be nice to get some new kits of them for sure. Okay, with these, the little dot goes towards the outside, not the inside. Okay, that makes sense. One thing that I think is going to be the case with this, just kind of making predictions about, I mean, so far we only have the legs built, and I don't really expect, I don't really see any big red flags so far as like validating the whole early real grade syndrome thing. One thing that I think may give us some trouble later is just the fact that I'm going to be doing a review of this, and so while I'm pretty confident in thinking that this kit is probably fine and not going to be bad at all, that said, like I was saying earlier, with it being a model kit and not a toy, the less you mess around with it, the better. But unfortunately, just the process of reviewing a kit means that I have to mess around with it a lot, showing you guys the articulation and showing you a bunch of different poses, so that for a kit like this, where I would ideally not like to move it around very much, I kind of have to for a review. So that can be tricky. But let's see. There's other kits too. Usually for Gunpla model kits, it's not a problem because, I mean, just generally the quality of them is good and it's never really an issue. But there is the occasion where it can be difficult. More often it's with kits like, what was one that gave me trouble lately? Not too recently, but for example, like the Power Dolls kit. I remember it's been a little while. Not the Power Dolls kit, the what was it? It wasn't Power Dolls, but what was that kit? That green kit that I built and reviewed? Wasn't Power Dolls, but it's a Plum kit. Anyway, a Plum mecha model kit. Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm kind of worried about this little part, this tiny little red part here at the front. A Plum model kit where the kit, it's a cool kit. It looks really nice, but it just doesn't really do very much because it's a very simple kit, and the articulation is very weak, and doesn't, just can't really do a whole lot. Those other kind of kits that are difficult to review, just because when it comes to being able to show you guys like different poses and stuff, if the kit can't really do posing very well, then it's kind of, there's not really much that I can show you guys. So it's kind of like 3 or 4 different variations of the same pose is kind of what I have to resort to, because there's not really too much else that the kit can do. So those kits can also be a little bit kind of difficult to review sometimes, just for that reason. Oof, yeah, I can tell that these skirt sections plugged into here, it's not exactly very tight at all. So I'm expecting that those are going to be falling off a fair amount. Okay, this part is going to plug into here first. And where to go? This part second. Found this kit for about $14.75 in KY country. What's KY country? Is it worth it? What's KY country? I don't know what that means. Oh, in my country. Oh, Yeah, $14.75, like $15. Yeah, I would say so. Sure. If you like if you wanted a nice, like, very like detailed, very parts heavy version of the RX-78-2 in 1/44 scale, and yeah. That said, if you wanted just a good 1/44 scale RX-78-2 Gundam, I prefer probably more than this. I prefer the Origin version would be probably my favorite 1/44 scale version. It can be more expensive and it's probably going to be similar price to this kit, to be honest. But let's see, the Origin version of the Gundam is a fantastic kit. It won't have some of the issues that you might run into with this kit, so that would be nice. And yeah, it's very detailed. Just doesn't have the complexity that this kit has, but it is very detailed. Otherwise, if you're not really worried about details and complexity and all that, then the HD Revive kit is awesome because it's very good and also very affordable. It should be very cheap. It should be around $10 or less if you can find it like on sale or something. So those would be my recommendations for you. But yeah, if you like the look of this kit and you think you want to give it a go, then yeah, for $15, not bad at all. What's your opinion on the Origin MG? It's like the Origin RX-78-2 Gundam. I love it. Fantastic. I actually like it more than the 3.0. And let's see. I think that's it. Okay. Our side skirt parts here gonna be like this. We need to turn that around and fold this down. Yeah, the Origin Gundam is probably my favorite version of the RX-78-2 in master grade form, I would say. I do really like the look of the 2.0, and actually I really loved the Perfect Gundam in was the Bandai came out with a Gundam base limited version of the Perfect Gundam, like without all the Perfect Gundam's armor and everything, so it's like just the base RX-78-2, and I reviewed the kit a couple years ago now, well, like when that first came out, and it's a really great kit. I like that kit a lot, and I just really love that look for the RX-78-2, but it is an exclusive kit, so it's not going to be as easy to get your hands on as, you know, something like the MG, the Origin version, for example. So if you can get your hands on it for a good price, though, it's a really nice kit. It is a very minimal kit, so it doesn't come with as much in there either, but it just, as far as a nice MG representation of the Gundam, and in particular kind of a little bit more, I don't want to say stylized, but more kind of traditional or sort of old school look for the Gundam. Less detailed, definitely. It's a cool kit. So I like that. All right, yeah, the skirt armor, it do be falling off very easily, as I was worried about and warned about. Actually, someone mentioned something. I saw a comment, something about the skirt armor. I didn't know exactly what they were referring to, but I see it now. Those skirt armor pieces do fall off pretty easily. Again, though, in my estimation, that doesn't at all make it a bad kit by any means, but it's just one thing to kind of keep your eye on. But for now, we're all done and dusted for another Gundam lower body. Anyway, so kind of cool, the construction order for this as well. It's one thing that I liked. I don't know, do the more recent real grade releases still follow this construction pattern where you basically build it from the ground up? You start from the feet and then kind of go up from there. I think even the more recent releases are still following that pattern, which is cool. I have yet to build a perfect grade kit. Well, no worries there. I feel like this is something, I've talked about this before. This is something that a lot of people who are newer to the hobby, and I feel like it's something that kind of dissipates with time. Like as you've been in the hobby for longer, this kind of feeling goes away. But especially for people who are newer to the hobby, they look at perfect grade as something like that they have to kind of like work their way up to. So it's like they kind of put perfect grade like up on a pedestal, sort of like that, right? Like, you know, I've been building for a while, but I'm not up to that. I'm not to the level yet where I'm ready to build perfect grades, kind of thing. It could just be an expense thing, because I mean, maybe just haven't tried perfect grades just because they're more expensive, which I understand. But I would say anyway, they don't need to put PGs up on a pedestal. PGs are not the best Gunpla kits by any means. It's probably one of my least favorite lines to build, for example, and I don't see them at all as like the best kits. Now, the PG Unleashed RX-78-2 is probably one of the best Gunpla kits that Bandai makes. You could make that argument, I suppose. But PGs in general, I mean, there's quite a range in terms of like the quality of PG kits, going from like the RX-78-2, the Zaku, the Zeta, the early ones, to like the Exia, the Unicorn, and the PG Unleashed, for example. A very different experience, I feel like. So yeah, I mean, perfect grades, I mean, they're cool, sure. And again, it's kind of like the question about whether someone should get this kit or not. It's just a matter of, you know, being fully aware of the pros and cons of this kit. Does it seem like something that you're interested in getting for yourself? Do you like it? Do you like the look of it? If so, then by all means. You know, but I feel like people just kind of without really having any good reason to do so, just kind of think of PGs as like the pinnacle of Gunpla, when I just don't think that it is. I just don't think that they are. If that makes sense. Okay, so can we all agree on that? Thank you. All right. This is interesting. And one thing that I had to like jog my memory on while getting the parts ready for this kit was that I knew that it includes the core fighter. I didn't remember if the core fighter is something that you can build that actually fits into the body or not, but it is. But I don't remember exactly how, because as it is now, the way that we're building this, there's no space to put the core fighter in here. But I think you can remake this in a way to put the core fighter actually in the torso. I believe so, right? Yeah. So yeah, that part actually comes out. I'm not gonna mess with it, but you can do it anyway. I sort of prefer the earlier PGs because the engineering is so weird. I built both the Zeta and the GPO-1. I would like to build the GPO-1 at some point, just because I think the GPO-1 PG does look very nice. I like the look and the proportions of that kit. That said, if Bandai were to come out with a new like 2.0 MG GPO-1 or like a Verka GPO-1, then I feel like that would probably kill any motivation that I would have for the PG. I feel like I would just be happy with whatever new MG we're getting, and I would feel like, okay, yeah, I'm not interested in the PG anymore. Because I think a lot of the reason why I'm interested in the PG GPO-1 is just because we don't really have very good options when it comes to the GP series kits. Like the GPO-1 real grade kits, I love. I think those look fantastic, but the MGs, nah, and the HG is also kind of so it's like for the GPO-1 you have the RG, which looks great, it's very small, or the PG, which I think also looks good. But if we had a good MG option, I think that's what I would opt for if I could. And hopefully we will at some point. I was very surprised that our Verka Zeta Gundam that we got beginning of last year, I was pretty surprised that it didn't end up being a Verka GPO-1. I mean, who knows what Bandai's gonna come out with at any point in time, but I feel like there's gotta be some kind of plan for some kind of new MG, whether it be a Verka or a 2.0 or whatever it ends up being. There's gotta be something in the works for the GPO-1. There's gotta be somebody there at Bandai that has a love for the GPO1 and wants a new 1/100 scale version of it. I don't know. I hope so. Let's see. The hanger that comes with the GPO1 is so sick too. Yes, exactly. That's another good reason to be interested in that kit. It's one of the reasons why I was interested in that kit as well. Yeah, because the hanger does look very cool with that. And that's my hope. And hey, I pray that I will be vindicated and completely correct in this assumption, but I think that if and when we do get a new MG GPO1, it's going to be like the 1.5 version of the S Gundam, where you can make it either as the S or the XS. I think that that's what it's going to be with the GPO1. It's going to have the parts to make it as either the regular GPO1 or the FB. And I'm pretty confident in that, although I do definitely see and admit the fact that there is, at the same time, there is a very high possibility that they'll make just the regular GPO1 as like a standard release and make the full burner as a P-Bandai release. That could be too. I mean, that's like equally as feasible in my mind, but I'm holding out hope. I'm thinking, I'm trying to, I don't know, how can I say it, look on the bright side or be hopeful in the fact that Bandai will make it as a set rather than separate releases, and one of them being P-Bandai. I don't know. My hope is that it's a Verka that has the parts to make both versions. That would be the perfect option for me. That's what I would love to see. Yeah, that would fall nicely in the MGX line. It could be a cool MGX release too. Yeah, that could work. I think so. If that question asking about is it fun, General Joe, is it fun? Is this kit fun? Yeah, so far it's been fine. No issues really. I can definitely kind of get the sense that it's not the most solid feeling kit that I've ever built, but considering this was the first RG kit and it came out 14 years ago, I mean, it feels fine. I don't know, about what I would expect for something like that. Yeah. Certainly not my favorite version of the RX-78-2, I'll tell you guys, as I think I said before. I mean, like, while I don't think it's a bad kit by any means, just completely subjectively and just completely my own opinion, I don't really prefer this version of the RX-78-2. Like I said, I prefer, in 1/44 scale, my number one preference would be the Origin version. Number two would either be the Revive, or aside from the Revive, then after that, maybe then the Beyond Global. It's cool too. I like the Beyond Global. It's got a couple of aspects of the design that I don't really care for, like the detail on the knee, for example. I don't like at all, but generally the overall like look and details and proportions and the articulation, especially of the Beyond Global, is really nice. Oh, the G30th is another great version, but it's the G30th. We were talking about this recently. I think the G30th is only available. It's only available in the beginner's set. I don't think there's any way to get the G30th on its own unless it's like some like Gundam based limited exclusive version or something like that that's based off of the G30th. I don't think there's any way to just get the G30th. It's a really great build. It's basically an HG version of this design. So like the mega size, the 3.0 Gundam, this, and the G30th are basically all based off of the design of like the 1-to-1 scale Gundam. They all kind of came out right around the same time for the 30th anniversary. And so it's all basically like the same design essentially of the RX-78-2. And so the G30th is great because you have all the basically like all the exterior details like you have like with this kit, but without the parts complexity. So it's simpler, but still has all the detail on there, which is nice. So I really like the G30th. G30th got super loose and floppy for me. Oh, yeah. I mean, I haven't built it for a while, so it could be a little bit of like nostalgia, rosy glasses kind of situation for me. But as far as I can remember, I mean, I love the kit. I think that it looks great. Okay, so we've got a couple of parts we have to take out. This part here. And these parts we're gonna click into place here and here. I want to also, let's see, rotate that 90 degrees. Zach, how do you feel about a Verka Kasi Gundam? I would like it. Yeah, the Kasi is another one that's not really one of my favorite designs, but I think it would be cool to see. I think it would be cool to see as an MG, either as a Verka or not, but just as an MG, just because of the spectacle of it, just being such a huge Gundam, it would be cool. If we were to see the Kasi as an MG, I would definitely prefer it as a Verka, because I definitely prefer Katoki's version of the design compared to like what we got in the HG. I like Katoki's version of the Kasi. If you guys are not aware of like the difference in the design, just look it up, like Katoki Kasi Gundam, and you can see that it looks different from the HG that we ended up getting, unfortunately. But the HG is cool and it's nice, and I've seen some beautiful builds of it. But just as far as my preference goes, I prefer the Katoki version. And a spam call over here. Hello. Not even gonna get a hello from a spam call? Man, that's really doing me dirty. Not seeing much for seam lines on this kit. No, Eric, you won't. You won't really see much of anything for seam lines on this kit. I think even in the weapons, like for the scale, the only place where I might expect to maybe see some seam lines on a kit like this is maybe on like the head or weapons. But even there, I don't think that we have any, no. So far, nothing yet. And we'll see as we continue along. But yeah, kind of more than halfway done here, as you can see. Thanks. HG Sasby is all right. One of my hobby friends said it was his favorite 144 scale kit until the Moon Gundam kit. Yeah, I've heard a lot of great things about the HGUC Sasby. I've never built it. I don't think. Have I? No, I don't think so. But I've built the Yakudoga, the HG Yakudoga, which is very similar. It came out, from the same series, and they came out like right around the same time. And the HG-UC Yakudoga is one that I will always recommend for people. I think it's one that's an older kit for sure, but holds up very well. So I can always recommend that kit to people. And if I have every reason to believe the Sasbi is just as good, because like I said, it came out like right around the same time. It's a very similar build or similar design, right? Obviously, so if it's anything like that, then yeah. I'm sure this is odd. What the fuck? Okay. Yeah, if the HGC Sasbi is anything like the Yakutoga, then I'm sure what I've heard is correct. And what I've heard is that it's a nice kit. So yes, sir. I haven't built it myself personally, just because my hobby shop hasn't gotten the reprints of it yet. Yeah, same. I've not built the Sasbi to know for sure, but I've been curious to build one just because of, like I said, the good things that I've heard about it. So maybe someday. It's gonna go here. Click. Love to hear that. Click. And there should be a part on the back. There it is. Okay, I was just trying to see when we're gonna put that part on there. So this one's gonna go here first. And this one. And when you have such really small parts and really small connections for those really small parts, you can understand why people have issues with this kit. You have such small parts and small connections, and see, like, if you're going to be moving this around at all, stuff's going to start falling off. That's why I was saying earlier, and I'll certainly be reiterating in the review, is that even more so than the recent MG releases, this one feels very much like a mini master grade in the complexity, and not in a good way. I think like the recent releases that you hear people saying like, oh, it's just like a mini master grade, and a lot of times people are saying it for some reason in some kind of like negative connotation. I think it's usually good, but this one, it's like too complex for how small it is, and I think that's probably why people have issues with this kit, is because it's kind of too complex for its own good, kind of thing. There is such a thing as too much of a good thing, right? And I think that's probably the issue with this. We're like, Bandai's good, but this at the time I think was maybe just like I said, I think this kit is fine. I don't really take issue with it, but it was a little bit kind of situation where Bandai got a little bit out in front of their skis, I think is maybe the right expression, right, on this one. It's a little bit too advanced even for them. In terms of what they were trying with this, and it certainly got better obviously in later releases, as we've seen with how good the real grade kits are now. And that's why they've gotten so much better, and people talk about early real grade syndrome is just because of how good recent real grade kits are compared to this. But you got to remember, like, it's like comparing tests with someone where someone else got a 95 and you got a 98. It's like, yeah, the new ones are better, but the old ones are pretty good too. They're just not as good. It's maybe not the exact right numbers to use for this analogy, but you guys get what I mean. There's nothing bad about these earlier kits. Are they as nice as the more recent kits? No, of course not, but I mean, I can definitely feel a little bit of kind of looseness in there, but I would almost kind of prefer that over it feeling too tight, because then I would be worried about, yeah, breaking stuff. And then we have the dreaded hands. Oof. Speaking of dreaded hands, did you guys check out the review for the MG Shinanju? I expect you all to... Oh no! The camera's frozen, isn't it? Alright, sorry about that. I'd like a PG the size of a mega size. Oof, that's a little too big, don't you think? Okay, I'm just gonna pop out this camera here for a second. I know that the camera froze. It's actually it's my capture card that has an issue. It just does that sometimes. I don't know. It just decides to take a break every now and then, I guess. So I'm just gonna leave that off for a second, and then we'll plug it back in and it'll be fine. But for the moment, let me... I'm gonna snack on this Gundam's arm here real quick. delicious. I'll just get that piece out of there. It's interesting. All right. Oh, let's get these parts out. We all need a break sometimes. Yes, exactly. I need a break, man. I need a weekend. This week, I've been going pretty hard this week, and maybe not immediately apparent to you guys. I mean, yeah, there's been, uploads every day, which is pretty normal, but I've been putting in the hours at night, like every night this week. Been tough, but yeah, been getting some good stuff done. There's always more to do, though, is the problem. Anyway, long and short of it is, looking forward to this weekend. And then next week is my birthday. Yes, next week is my birthday, and then the week after that, I'll be doing the fundraiser live stream event. So I'll have something to post about that actually very soon, later today, after this. And then I'll have some more information later on for you guys about that. But it's going to be March 8th. It's going to be the charity fundraiser live stream. But yeah, thank you for the happy birthday wishes. Thank you guys. I'll see if I can't do. See if I can have a kit ready to live build on that day. Don't know what it's going to be. I'll figure something out. I'll figure something out to live build on that day so that we can hang out together a little bit. For the birthday, I was planning to, or I would have liked to, done the fundraiser live stream on my birthday. It was either on my birthday or like the day before or the day after, because I know that the fundraiser live stream is going to go late, and so I don't want to be home from work late on my birthday. I want to spend some time with my family, but so I was going to do it like the day before or the day after my birthday, but I'm just not going to be ready in time. It's a lot of stuff still yet to prepare for that, so I decided to postpone that. It's not like not necessarily like a postpone when it wasn't ever like announced yet, but it's just postponed in my mind from when I was originally planning to do it, from next week to the week after, which would be end of that next week, March 8th. So I'll let you guys know about that. This part's not fitting quite right. Let me see if I can't figure out what's wrong here. Oh yeah, I can see it. There's a little bit of nub that's not quite cleaned up. Sometimes that's all it takes on a kit like this. Again, this is on like one of those parts that I was talking about. It's a really small kit with a really small connection. And if you have a really small little bit of nub that's not cleaned up quite right, it's not going to fit. That's what was going on there. Now, what were we talking about? I think you should do a drunk build on your birthday. Well, I can certainly have some drinks. I don't know if I'll be drunk. I do have to drive home, but I could certainly have some beers. Responsibly, of course. But yeah, I can do that. When's the charity stream? Yeah, so Petite Cherie, it's going to be on the 8th. I know I was talking about that in like last December, so it's been like a couple months, but just been so busy with everything, with this, that, and the other thing. It's a lot going on, so and wanting to have like the right time to do it, so getting all the kits ready to build. So basically what I'm going to do is just going to be like all day long just live building. I have a bunch of kits to get ready for that. I think it's going to be 5 kits, possibly more, just kind of depending on what I can end up getting done. I would think I'm going to have like at least the 5 kits ready to go, and I want to have like maybe 1 or 2 on hand extra that will be ready in case if I just on the spot end up wanting to do more. I'm able to do more is kind of the thing. I don't know. It could be a time issue because one of the kits that I'm going to be building, I don't want to spoil anything quite yet, but one of the kits that I'm going to be building is pretty big. So I feel like that's probably going to end up taking longer than I'm anticipating. So I don't want to plan too much and end up not being able to build like a few of the planned kits. If I end up like not getting to like one of the 5, then that's not so bad. But I just want to be able to build some cool kits. The camera round head of GN drive, that's why it's blacked out. Yeah, I'm just putting the other arm together. So you guys already saw the first arm, I think mostly, right? I'm just going to finish putting this other arm together and then I'll get back to you guys. Just a second. I don't know why this part's like not fitting in here. Let me see. All right, let's go ahead and plug this back in and see. Bear with me a moment. Oh yeah. Should be working now. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay, and there's our arm. And got that on there. Neat. All right, so body's all done. And a piece fell off already. This kit's trash. Early real grade syndrome strikes again. The articulated hands. Yeah, one thing that I'm definitely glad that Bandai got rid of on the real grade kits is the articulated manipulators. It's just too small to try to do something like that. Zach, think you'd do any more of Bandai's older MGs styled kits like their old Votom MG or Real World Revolution kits? Yeah, if the situation calls for it. I don't really think that I have any more offhand. I think, yeah, I definitely don't have any of their older Votom's kits. I do have one of Bandai's MG Ingram kits. I think it's not that old. I think it's like 20, I don't know, 13 or something like that. So it's probably about 10 years old, maybe something like that at this point, but it's not like, that old. What do I have other than that? I do have a couple of old kits, like old 80s kits, but let's see. It reminds me of the first series ending with no head. Yeah, right. MG Ingram kits are from 2001. Really? This is like the movie version, like the more detailed one. Is it that old? Are you sure about that? Let me see. Yeah, I know I did the L Game Mark II. That's the only R3 kit that I built. And there's only like, I don't know, how many R3 kits did Bandai make? Like 3 or 4 maybe? Let's see, MG Ingram. I know there's a couple of different MG Ingrams, but yeah, the one that I have is the, where is it? It's like the movie version or whatever. It's like the more detailed, like more modern, detailed looking one. I'm not even seeing it here. So I thought it was newer. No, this isn't it. Where is it? Let me see. So all the older kits are in like horizontal boxes. This one is in a vertical box. Trying to see if I can't figure out which version it is. Is it not an Ingram? It is, isn't it? Anyway. Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, let's see. It's this one. You guys see that? Probably not very well, I guess. Is this better? That's better. Yeah, that one. The R3 Lasner. That'd be cool. Yeah, let's see. 148 scale. Ingram. Yeah. Let's see. Well, let's see. What the fuck? Yeah, this one. Okay, here. The Type 98 AV Ingram. This one. Pat Labor Next Generation MG. That one. This one is also from 2001. 2014 was the release day. Yeah, it's much newer. I thought so, right? Yeah. I think the older MGs, yeah, are 2001. I'll take your word for it. I think that's probably right. But yeah, this one, as I thought, was newer. I think that makes sense. Unless I could be wrong, but let's put the eye stickers on, shall we, or shall we not? Let's not. Let's just not. There is a sticker. Let's see. There is a sticker we could put there, I think, isn't there? No. All right, let's put this one on here. I was thinking there was a sticker we could put underneath the clear part, but I don't think that there is. Apparently not. We can put this on here. And this. Oof. Kind of looks weird. All right. Then the face plate. Excuse me. Aye. Bye. Have a great weekend. Happy birthday. Looking forward to the charity stream. Thank you. My birthday is not till Wednesday, so it's not like right around the corner Monday. But yeah, like I said, I'll try to have something planned to live stream on that day. That'd be a good idea. Looking at what I've got here in the stack, maybe I'll put it up to you guys. I'll let you guys decide. I'll put a poll up maybe over the weekend what that should be. Actually, I have a really good candidate. What would be a good thing to build on that day? I'm just not sure if I can have it ready in time. I'll see if I can get that kit ready. I won't spoil the surprise, but yeah, I have a good idea of what would be fun to build on that day. A really cool limited exclusive Gunpla kit, which I've been working on getting ready for a live build, and I just like keep putting it off. But I need to finish getting that ready. Oof. Okay. So that. And this here. Yeah, whereas the other parts of the kit definitely felt like there was some kind of loose aspects. And of course, just because they have moving parts, whereas like here on the head, there's no moving parts. So you wouldn't imagine there would be anything feeling loose on it, but yeah, the head feels really solid, if nothing else, which is good. Yeah. The MGIJ is good for me. can't get this part in here for the head camera. It should be... Yeah, it should be just up into like that. It's kind of tight. Let's see. Just have to just get it just right and hopefully not break anything in the process. But I'm kind of worried. Should be... I don't like how tight that is. Why is it so tight? I feel like I'm just about to break something. All right. When in doubt, back it out. Let's take that back out of there if I can and see if we can't figure out what's going on with this thing. All right. I don't know. Maybe I put it in there upside down or something. I don't think so. Oh, yeah, I definitely did. I was definitely putting it in the wrong way. So, see, there you go. That's what you got to do. When it's not fitting in, just take it apart again and put it back together, and you'll find 9 times out of 10, it's just you were just trying to put it in the wrong way or something, right? Okay. I don't like the fact that there's a separate red part for the head camera on the back of the head. That's a perfect example of what I was talking about earlier about, like, it feels like Bandai was just really trying to do too much with this kit. There was no reason to make the head camera on the back of the head a separate tiny little red piece just to have it as a color separated red piece for the head camera on the back of the head. I mean, unnecessary, Bandai, come on. Not at all necessary. All right, but there we go. There's our Gundam. All done. But wait, there's more, because we do have the weapons and the what's it called? You know, Core Fighter. Yes, exactly. So let's do that here real quick. Weapons are going to be pretty straightforward again, just like with the head. There's no moving parts. Well, I guess there is moving parts, but you don't have any like the inner frame and anything like that. I mean, it's just weapons, nothing too complex. We shouldn't have any issues here with these parts. I'm anticipating no issues anyway. Isn't the MG Aegis pretty good? That's one that I've not actually ever built, so I don't know. I can't answer that for you. So it's a good thing the question was not posed to me. All right. It's one of those seed kits that I've just never built. What other seed kits have I not built? I'm sure there's other ones, but I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Other MG seed kits that I've yeah, like I think there's like an MG Strike Rouge. Actually, the MG what is it? It's actually just the Strike Gundam. Yeah, actually there's a lot. There's like the Destiny, MG Destiny I've never built. The 1.0 Freedom. The 1.0 Strike Freedom. The Strike Gundam, the Ale Strike, the original, or the RM. I don't think I've built either of those. So I guess there's like the lead Gundams are the ones that I've not built, but I have built most of the other ones, like the Duel, the Blitz, Does this have a particular way to go in there? Maybe not. Sort of? No. The Blitz, the Duel, the what's the other one? Buster Gundam. Been there. I think that's it for the beam rifle, right? Yep, very cool. Nice. And this guy here. All right. Whee. The Strike Gundam with IWSP. Yes, Christian, I have built that one actually. And actually, someone asked me if I could review that kit, so I was actually thinking about getting another one and building it, because I built that like a long time ago before I was doing anything on YouTube, so I don't have a review of that kit. Someone asked me if I could review it, so I thought, yeah, I wouldn't mind building that kit again. I liked it. It's a cool kit. So I may build that kit again so that I can review it for you guys. But I've just got so much stuff in the review queue at the moment that I just don't really want to kind of add anything else more to the to-do list kind of thing, you know what I mean? But I'm thinking about it anyway. At some point, if I can, I'll try to snag that kit up and do a retrospective review on it. I think would be cool. It's a cool kit, yeah, definitely. And then no. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I need this part on here first. That goes on there, and then this goes on top of there. Right. What's your thoughts about it? Thoughts about what? Oh, hi Zach, please. Let's talk about the current Gunpla availability and selection in Japan right now. I just came from Japan recently, and I was quite disappointed with the current supply there. I don't know. I haven't been to Japan recently, so I don't know what it's like. I've heard, but you know, I think it probably, I mean, it could depend day to day. It also could depend on exactly which area you're shopping in. I mean, really, and it depends on what you're shopping for. I don't know. So it's not something like, I've heard that the supply is like not as good as it has been in the past, but I mean, I don't know exactly really what that means. So I'm not sure. I couldn't really say. But I mean, regardless, I can't imagine it's that horrific that there's absolutely nothing to buy there. I don't think that would be the case. If you're in Japan and wanting to buy some Gunpla, I have no doubt that you could find some cool stuff to buy. You know, is it going to be exactly specifically what you're looking for? You know, maybe not. But I mean, if you're looking for something like really super specific, it could be the case at any point when you go there. You could find out that, you know, you can't find what you're looking for. That could happen anytime. So it's not something that is like very indicative of a problem that's exclusive to now. That could be a problem at any point in time, depending on what you're looking for. I would say you also have to know where to look too. I mean, like if you're only going to like Gundam base and maybe like Yodobashi camera and you can't find what you're looking for, I mean, you have to look around at some of the other places too. You have to go, especially to like looking around some of the secondhand stores and stuff would be a good place to look for something if it's not something that's, especially if it's a kit that's not been recently reprinted or it's not a new release. Then Gundam Base Tokyo, even though I was saying earlier, like I would not recommend getting like standard release stuff there at the Gundam Base Tokyo. The good thing is that they usually keep that pretty well stocked. So even if it's a Gundam kit that hasn't been reprinted in a long time, there's a very good chance that they might have it at a Gundam Base Tokyo, just because even for kits that haven't been reprinted in a long time, they keep it pretty well stocked somehow, magically. But they keep reserves of everything there for that. But yeah, if it's a kit, I mean, you can't find anywhere else, you know, the best place to look would be like secondhand stores. I was in Tokyo and Akihabara, even the regular release kits, it feels like there are a shortage. I mean, it could be the case. I don't know. Like I said, I've not been over for a while, so I'm not really sure. Couldn't comment on that. I'm hoping to be able to go later this year. Man, the fingers are crossed, but I don't know. Until then, yeah, I just couldn't say. I don't know from firsthand knowledge. Yeah, my expectation would be that, you know, while yeah, it may be harder to find maybe some things, like I'm sure you could find something cool to buy. No doubt about that. All right. Yeah, hoping to go later this year. if you guys want to see my triumphant return to Japan for a new Gunpla Shopping in Japan series, let me know, because I would love to go. But also, it's kind of like difficult timing right now because my wife's currently undergoing her treatment, so it's not really the ideal time to go. Like, I've talked to her about it, and she said, like, yeah, if I get the chance, like, to go. But yeah, we'll think about that. I have to put her first, you know. How's your wife, by the way, Christian? Doing pretty well. Been pretty fortunate, you know. You hear a lot of horror stories about like how bad chemotherapy in particular can be, and so I think she's doing like pretty well. It could be a lot worse, you know, based on what we've heard. It's been rough, but yeah, like I said, I think just based on what I've heard, what I know about it, it could have been a lot worse. So kind of fortunate for her in that sense, but you know, it's not unfortunate in any other sense other than that. But to try to be looking on the bright side, right? It's been pretty okay so far. Is this not correct? Okay, that's why that's not working. How are we doing on time? Pretty good. I think we're just about done, and which is good because we're just about out of time here. So we're gonna wrap up the core fighter here and call it a day. Call it a week. We've got some landing gear here for the core fighter as well. Let's see, this one goes where? Right here. Oof. How does this landing gear stay in there? Not well. It's like kind of just barely in there. All right. Even the core fighter 2 also feels a little bit kind of loosey-goosey here. Not super. Whoop. Yeah, because that just came out entirely. I have a feeling that it wasn't supposed to do that. Maybe I don't have that pushed in all the way. Is that supposed to click? I wonder, possibly. Maybe it was, and I just didn't click it. Let's see. Let me turn the page back here real quick. And no, it doesn't say that it's supposed to click. But it's kind of loose. I don't know. All right. Anyway, here's our core fighter. Yeah. Do I have that wrong? What is going on with that? Why is that so loose? That's strange. That shouldn't be that loose. Everything's kind of just like the core fighter is very floppy feeling. I feel like once you set it down, and like the you just set it down and leave it alone, I think it'll be fine. But like in hand, it's certainly feeling very flimsy. But there you go. This part's supposed to be pushed back, right? Right? I don't know. Anyway, I'll mess with it later. But yeah, core fighter is a little floppy feeling there. But the kit too, I mean, I can definitely see there's loose parts, things that I'm anticipating. Yeah, you probably are going to want to glue joints for bits here and there, like the skirt armor, for example. Yeah, that you're probably going to want to glue. So there is going to be some issues, no doubt, I think, when it comes to like trying to pose the kit and if you're going to be moving the kit around a lot, especially. But does the kit look good? Yes. Can the kit do cool poses? I'm anticipating yes, just because of how good the articulation and part separation, everything else is on this. So at the end of the day, is it going to look good and do what it needs to do? That's kind of my criteria for what makes a good kit, and I think it seems pretty good to me. So I'm happy with it. Do I see, can I recognize that there are going to be some issues with this kit? Absolutely. So I don't know. Early real grade syndrome debunked, I guess, in the sense that as I said at the start of the stream, I really don't think that it's something that is that big of a deal. And my worry is that people who would otherwise be perfectly content with this kit, and maybe if they're big fans of this particular design, they're just going to opt to not even bother trying the kit just because of, you know, bad press coverage that the kit has got online. But it's definitely at least worth trying out. I mean, if you're a fan of it, it's a pretty inexpensive kit as well. You can usually get it for, I don't know, MSRP is $2,500. So, you know, if you can get it for less than $25, I think it's worth it. So check it out. Glue all the joints and make it a statue. Yeah, that's always an option, William. So, all right. Good job, everyone. If you haven't yet, check out my video on this cutie little crab boy. While we're here, I've just got it here on my desk, so I'll take the opportunity to show it off again, because I think it was a pretty cool little build. A lot of fun. I like it. So you guys are getting a cool top-down view of it there. But just got it right here, right now. But yeah, I got a whole bunch of stuff that I'm working on. Next week is going to be another very crazy, packed week for me. But Wednesday, yeah, will be my birthday, and I have a kit that I think would be cool, fun to build on that day, so I'll try my best to have it ready. Till then, guys, thank you so much for hanging out, and I'll see you very soon. Have a great weekend, everyone. Will you get the mantis shrimp kit? Yeah, maybe. I'll think about that. See ya.